It's game day, Detroit. You're waking up with Woodward and Maine, your source for all the insider information on the defending NFC North champion Detroit Lions. With insight from Detroit sports media legend Terry Foster and rising star Matt Broder. Get ready, Detroit. It's now time for Woodward and Maine.
So I got one thing to say. Damn.
Damn.
Terry Foster, Matthew Arthur Broder III.
A new name today.
Yes.
King Arthur?
King Arthur.
I'll take it.
King Arthur Broder. This is Woodward and Main Street. Good morning, everybody. It is another Victory Monday. All we have are Victory Mondays. The only time we're not going to have a Victory Monday is when the Lions play on Thursday or Saturday or...
Which is coming up.
Is it?
It's coming up.
Oh, yeah, we got Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we got Sunday versus the Colts
Okay.
in 6 days, but then we got the Thursday games, Thanksgiving, and then 7 days later, the Packers come back to Ford Field on a Thursday game. So it's about to happen.
Okay, sounds good to me.
So the goal is Victory Fridays for those games.
Right.
But we've just been celebrating Victory Mondays all season long. In fact, 9 times.
Right. Now, I don't even know if the score was 52-6 because they just kept scoring.
A lot to a little.
Right. And already hearing from some people, well, yeah, they scored 52 points, but it was against Jacksonville.
But it was the Jaguars.
It was the Jags. All right. Here's what I will say. Anytime you're impressive like this against any professional team, that's an accomplishment. Because what I used to hear was, oh, how come the Lions keep playing down to their competition? They shouldn't have been, that game shouldn't have been closer. They shouldn't have lost to this shitty team. Mm-hmm. Well, I think the Houston victory, where they were getting manhandled early, woke them up. And they were like, okay, this ain't happening again.
No. Ben Johnson challenged the offense.
Right.
I think they responded. Did they respond?
They responded a little bit. You know, what was it 7 for 7 on touchdown drives? Now they have a new stat for the Lions.
What?
It's called explosive drives. And 11 times this season, the Lions have scored a touchdown on 4 plays or fewer, which is nuts.
It's nuts. How many times did they do it yesterday?
I think they only did it once.
One.
But
They did it twice.
did it twice.
Just before halftime and just after halftime. Both just over 2-minute drives, but 4 plays for 84 yards, 4 plays for 80 yards. Explosives. It's like exhibit how many explosives they got.
Right. They're just making up shit for the Lions. That's how good they are right now.
If you check out the Lions PR Twitter after the game, it's just a never, you could scroll for days. How many records, how many accomplishments that they keep setting. This offense and this team, it's not even just the offense, it's the defense too. Kirby Joseph. It's the team, 8-game win streak. Okay, great start. Actually, the best start since 1934. They're 9-1. Best start since 1934, Terry. 3 straight winning seasons for the first time since 93-95. And 30 wins over the last 3 seasons is the most in a 3-season span in franchise history. And it's week 11. We're going into week 12.
Right. I know in my heart of hearts the Lions are going to lose another game, maybe 2. Hopefully it happen. If they do, it'll be in the regular season. But here's what I can't answer. How does that happen? Who's going to do it, and how can they do it? It's going to have to be somebody from the division. Mm-hmm. And I think it's going to have to be they're going to have to get into a game where it becomes heated. The other team is all pissed off. The Lions might be pissed off and lose their focus. That's the only way they can lose in my mind right now. They have to be against the Bears or Minnesota or Green Bay. And
I don't see it happening in the middle of the season either. Like, we're talking about maybe the Vikings game in week 18. But you see the Bears team blow it to the Packers yesterday. Mm-hmm. Like, neither of those teams scare me, especially coming into Ford Field where this team is putting on epic performances. It's not going to happen. Maybe in years past, they
so 16-1.
Yeah. Yeah, why not? Why not?
I can't argue that. I just know it doesn't happen.
Right.
17-0, 16-0 just doesn't happen often. Or back in the day, 16-0 or 14-0, whatever it used to be.
The best team is 14-3 this year, or the really good teams are 13-4. No, this team has a legitimate shot to go 16-1. We got Bills and the 49ers. Those are probably the two biggest tests. Bills, by the way, talk about coming up with a big win against the last remaining undefeated team in the NFL.
Well, dude, couldn't you see that happen? I mean, Kansas City has been teetering all season.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Mahomes, as usual, had an early interception. They were trying to play from behind on the road, which is very difficult to do. And then the law of averages say, hey, y'all got to lose at some point. Because you're not blowing teams away, just kicking people's ass.
They're taking names.
Mm-hmm.
It's games like this. These are the games that maybe either the Lions lose in years past, or maybe it's a close, tough game into the fourth quarter. Injuries happen, or it's not a plain bye week, for lack of a better term. They got to put their full effort out. Now you look at the Colts next week. That's a game before the season started I pegged as maybe one of those, not a trap game, but a good team in their home. Lions maybe drop that one. I'm not scared of the Colts either. Definitely not Anthony Richardson.
No. I don't think there's any more. I don't think there's trap games to the Lions. I really believe this team feels like it's on a mission, and they remain ultra focused.
Yeah. The Jaguars really looked overwhelmed out there yesterday. It didn't surprise a lot of people, but Terry, what do you think Jacksonville Jaguars fans were doing yesterday? Like,
they went to the beach.
Right?
Yeah, because they don't have the luxury of having apple orchards like we do, I don't think.
That's true.
So what we would do when the Lions were messing things up on a Sunday, we would just go to apple orchard with the kids, get some cider and some donuts and
walk around if you got a dog. Right. Walk around with the dog. Enjoy your Sunday afternoon.
We're not going to let them ruin it.
No.
But Jacksonville, they do have the beach. That's good.
Yeah.
So the fans probably went to the beach.
Mm-hmm.
Had a couple of daiquiris at one of those outrigger bars or the tiki bars,
little
or
tiki
something.
hut.
So yeah, I have been to Jacksonville. I didn't like it. There was just something about it. It was like, too many bridges.
What is it? Like, what's the identity of Jacksonville?
There's a bunch of rich white people, and then really poor black people. Oh, that sounds like Detroit. I know, just kidding. No, but and then they're super snooty, or they're just super poor. And maybe I got a bad because I went to a super snooty party.
Maybe.
And I was around the snoots.
Terry and the snoots.
And my trip to Jacksonville was really, really snooty because I stayed at the Ritz-Carlton.
Oh.
On the beach.
Oh,
Ooh,
Terry.
Yes, I was balling.
Was this on the company card back in the day from one of the outlets you worked for?
Yes.
You'll take it.
They paid for it.
Hey, when you can get in the snooty room at the Ritz-Carlton, you take it, Terry.
Yes.
Yeah.
I stayed at the Ritz twice in my life.
Pretty nice place.
Oh, it's the bomb.
Eat some crackers.
No, bro. This is Ritz-Carlton. They don't give you crackers.
I know.
They give you like high-end pita bread to go with your dips and stuff.
A little caviar.
Yeah. And if you do get crackers, on the box there's like a King's Crest or something on it.
Well, the Lions made easy cheese of the Jaguars yesterday. How about that? If I was a Jaguars fan, there were no expectations going into that game, and by 1:15 it was over.
Yeah, but you even if your team sucks, you want them to be competitive.
Right, but after Brian Branch tackled Evan Ingram just in front of the first down line, it was like third down, their second or third drive of the game. It was over. The game was over. That hit alone ended it. And it might have been over before that, but that told me this Lions defense isn't going to let the Jaguars team come back, score any points, which they didn't in the second half. But that play alone was the defensive theme of the day, Terry. They were tackling well. They were all flowing to the ball so aggressively that Jaguars offense had nothing. They had Mac Jones. I'm sorry, Travis Etienne had 30 yards on the day. It was from the very start, Terry. It was over. And you even texted me yesterday. It seems as if teams do end up scoring first on the Lions.
They do.
But after that, the Lions shut them down.
I have a philosophy on that.
What?
I think teams now get ultra emotional about playing the Lions. I mean, in their minds, this is going to be our Super Bowl.
War.
We're going to beat these guys. We're going to walk off the field and say, hey, yo, we beat the best team in the NFL. But that's emotion talking. Emotion can only last for so long, maybe a half hour or 15 minutes or something. And then beyond that, then you have to play football. Mm-hmm. It has to turn into a football game. And when that happens, when it's just a football game and all the emotion and all that stuff wears off, Lions is superior to anybody that they've played so far.
Anybody at each part of their team, each level of their defense, each position on offense, and even on special teams.
Sure.
They're better than every team.
Right. So down 3-0 to Jacksonville, down 10 points to Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Were they down 10 to Green Bay?
They were at least down 3. Even did the Titans score first? No, the Titans hung with them 14-14. But they do it each game. The Cowboys went up 3, maybe 10-2. Several teams on the calendar have done that.
Right.
The Lions shut them down.
And I think that's an emotional thing by the opponents.
Yeah.
And we're going to get these guys, and then after you get punched in the face, you see the stars and it's reality. So, okay, this team is for real. And then you kind of, I'm not saying these teams give up, but their heart is cut out from them.
Yeah, amen to that.
Yeah. I mean, Jacksonville, heart, cut out.
Cut out. Possibly their head coach.
Oh, yeah, he's going to get fired.
Lions get coaches fired, Terry.
Right.
What was it, Josh McDaniels last year?
Yep, McDaniels. Now, this year, Jacksonville's got the bye.
Mm-hmm.
You lost by 48.
Mm-hmm.
See ya.
If the Bears come to Ford Field on Thanksgiving and Eberflus is still the coach down there, and the Lions put it on them, we may see one in division.
Yeah.
We may see one in division. But before we start talking about the game, Terry, Lions are the undisputed best team in the league. Am I right?
In my mind, yes.
Chiefs
but
lost.
I think you will get some people who will still say it's the Chiefs, even though the Chiefs, every game has been, it's like pulling your teeth out.
Right. You still got to respect the Chiefs and give them their flower. They're maybe the best. Maybe they're the best team in the NFL. Right now, the Lions are playing the best football. They're the best football team right now.
I don't think the Chiefs are the best team in football.
But,
I mean, look at their games. No matter who they play, it's a dogfight.
Well, right. But they deserve a little bit of factor in their track record a little bit. They deserve. You win 2 straight Super Bowls, you earn that.
And that's why a lot of people will say the Chiefs are still number one because of those rings. Mm-hmm. And in fact, they've only lost once. But when you look at the eyeball test of right now, Lions are better than the Chiefs.
It's so true. It's so true. In
look
about every category.
Look at the games this year people were worried about. Going into Green Bay, oh my God. It's going to be muddy. It might rain. Jared Goff can't play outside. Mm-hmm. Lions going to lose that game. Then going into Minnesota. First place Minnesota. They're kicking. At that time, Minnesota was kicking everybody's ass. We
undefeated.
forget about that.
Yep.
A guy got to go to the Hanky Dome and play these guys. They're really hot right now. Lions took care of business.
Owen Copperell in the chat said, even just looking at the other good teams in the league, their body language ain't the same. The unity ain't the same. This squad and this group is special and have each other's back in the trenches. Owen hits it right on. Is it Owen or Oren hits it right on the nail? This team is different, and it's the next man up. Terry, if I had told you before the season that the following players would miss a significant amount of time due to injury, what record would you have predicted? And I'm talking Hutch, Derek Barnes, John Kaminsky, Marcus Davenport, Ife Melifonwu, Emmanuel Mosley. Now Alex Anzalone is out, and we'll get there. But if I told you all those guys were out, or even just Hutch, what are you predicting? What record?
Well, I believe the Lions are a real organization now. They're a real team. But I would say 3 losses out now.
Even without Hutch?
Maybe 4.
Okay.
3 or 4.
Oh, right now. Okay, yeah.
At this point. Are you talking about for the rest?
For this point.
Season?
No, for this point. So they'd be about 5-4, maybe 6-3. 6-3.
Yeah.
Not 9-1.
No. Oh no. Wait. They played 10 games.
Yeah.
How about? I would say 7-3, 6-4.
A good team, but not a first place team. Maybe not.
Maybe tied for first.
Yeah, in the division.
Right.
Not the conference.
No, we wouldn't be talking about number 1 seeds or stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, they've lost a lot, but throughout history, every time the Lions lose or have a bad season, we always blame injuries. Well, some people blame injuries. I didn't. I just said it's a bad organization. They're still being injured. These are key guys, and guess what? Still winning.
Next man up. This is why this team is different. How Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell have constructed it. It's special.
Now they have to do is trade for a left tackle, and they'll be perfect.
See, you're finally coming around, Uncle T. You're finally coming around. We got Penny Sewell playing in the fourth quarter. Maybe they need a little tackle depth.
Hey, dandruff face. That was a joke.
I know, but we start seeing like there's only so many people on the roster. We had starters in, and 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Oh, it caused a little bit of controversy. Do you think they were running up the score?
They were just playing football,
right? Should they have done anything different? Pulled Goff in the second half. The running backs.
I would have pulled Goff and Sewell sooner.
Goff and Sewell,
because they're just too valuable.
Agreed. Dan Campbell didn't pull Sewell because he's the youngest of the offensive linemen. Like, Ragnow went out. Taylor Decker went out. He's nursing an injury. I think Zeitler did too. Glasgow and Penny Sewell stayed in for the entire game.
Yeah, but anybody can get injured in the NFL.
Right.
It's a collision sport. I mean, you could just be running down the field and pull a hamstring. But, my point is when it's unnecessary to play your star players, then pull them. Now, I wouldn't have done it early in the third quarter because anything can happen.
Right.
So, late third quarter, you gone.
Right.
Definitely by the fourth quarter, your ass is sitting.
See, I'm with you, and I'm more take the running backs out. Take Gibbs and Montgomery out. It seemed like they were leaving Goff in there. I don't want to say this was Ben Johnson's only reason for leaving Goff in there, but it seemed like they were trying to get his stats, his
that's
final
exactly
game
what it was.
Back to MVP consideration.
He had a jacked up game last week, so it's like I think teams want to give their star players some stats. So at the end of the year, you can say, hey, he passed for 4,800 yards rather than 4,600 yards.
Right. And Ben Johnson will do that. On National Tight Ends Day, he'll feed the tight ends a couple touchdowns. Last year, Josh Reynolds needed a certain amount of receptions to get his end of year bonus. Fed him the ball so that he got it. This team, it's part of what makes this team special. Dan Campbell, Ben Johnson, this whole organization is built from former players. I know Ben Johnson wasn't a former player, but Dan Campbell's leading this team in that way. He knows what these players are thinking about and talking about.
No, and I think Dan Campbell understands you have to feed your players. You do have to coddle players. And I know fans don't like to hear this. Well, these guys are pampered, blah, blah. But you have to do it a little to a certain extent. But he's also, from my understanding, Dan Campbell can be and is an asshole behind the scenes.
100%.
So he's not their best buddy all the time, and he shouldn't be. So I think that plays out. But the one of the downfalls of the Lions from previous years is whether it was coaches or the front office would piss off the locker room. So dudes wouldn't give 100%. And that would be just enough for them to lose games. But I think Dan Campbell, when you look at the way he treats his team, he wants to get Jared Goff his 400 yards if he can. You notice there's a whole bunch of dudes who don't even practice on Wednesdays. Mm-hmm. It's like giving them a day off. I think he's rewarding them sometimes.
Yeah.
Maybe I may have a little hangnail. It's let's let the hangnail heal completely.
That's enough to go on the injury
and then
report.
come back and give me everything you got on Thursday or Friday.
This is why, that speech, his famous speech, was 3 years ago before this all started. He talks about just how much he cares about his men, and we're hitting now early in training camp because he's got a plan for them. He wants them to be ready at the beginning of the season and stay healthy. He is only looking out for these guys. Even Zadarius Smith saw it just from his actions last week, keeping him out of the Texans game. The dude wanted to play so bad, but he realizes this is what makes this team different. And the whole league's on notice now. Other players are starting to figure out really what's brewing in Detroit. Off the field. We're not even talking about on the field.
Look, I've always said Detroit is not a free agent destination.
It wasn't.
It's not. And the Lions were definitely not a free agent destination. But the way that Campbell treated Smith, made sure he got his bye week. They see Smith with his Rasheed Wallace jersey on, all jacked up and everything to play. Other guys are going to look at this, and the Lions won't have to overspend to get guys sometimes. I think that we're going to start to see that next year. So nobody wants to come here and play.
No, but football's one of those sports. It's so violent. It's so risky that with a lot of players, especially moving forward, players are looking for a place they feel safe. They feel that they can trust the coaching staff to put them not just in the right position and be successful, but situations to protect themselves. Situations where they don't have to worry about injury as much as other places. Or even wide receivers want to come and play with Goff because they know he's going to throw them to safety. He's not going to put them in danger. Little things like that are part of what make the Lions a destination. Forget the city. And the city's becoming a destination too, but we're not going to mince words here.
Yeah, and to that point, how many times do you see Lion wide receivers catch a pass and immediately get jacked up?
Rarely.
You don't see it that much, and that's A, game plan. B, Jared Goff is understanding, okay, yeah, I do want to complete the pass to this guy, but I don't want to put him in harm's way.
Yeah. Don't you think maybe Matthew Stafford should learn how to do that?
He did. I mean, Matthew Stafford's like, hey, I'm just going to complete this ball. If you get drilled, I'll pick you up and help you out. But no, Matthew Stafford put his receivers in harm's way a lot of times.
A lot of times. Quarterbacks all over the league are doing it. In Indianapolis. I mean, it happens every week. It doesn't happen often with Jared Goff and this Lions offense. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I remember talking to him about it in the locker room last year. He's like, the dude, he throws a catchable ball. Maybe it's not the most perfect spiral. It's a catchable ball, keeps him out of harm's way. And we saw yesterday his accuracy, or I should say his ball placement on that touchdown to St. Brown, where he puts it just out and up of the outstretched arms of the defender, where St. Brown catches it, turns, there's nobody. Touchdown. Jamison Williams, the same thing. A very similar play that he hit J-Mo crossing over the middle. I believe it was the Seahawks game. J-Mo catches it. He takes one step up the field. He's gone. He's jogging 30 yards away from the end zone. Jahmyr Gibbs almost broke like 6 different rushes.
They just got his ankles. Just clipped him up.
Just barely. You think he's going to break it every time he touches it?
That dude one day is going to rush for 200 yards. Because somebody's not going to grab his ankle or trip him up, and he's gone.
He'll have 2 70-yard rushes right there, and then he'll just have a normal day. It'll be 200 and 2 or 3 touchdowns.
And you know what? I'm a little upset with you.
With me?
Yes.
What the hell did I do?
You did not mention Mr. Fleetfoot.
Who's that?
Jared Goff.
Oh, Vanilla Vic?
Yeah. 4 rushes, 21 yards.
That dude was electric out there.
Shoot.
I heard he couldn't run. I heard he wasn't an athlete.
Would you call him Vanilla?
Vanilla Vic?
Vanilla Vic, yeah.
Have you heard that one before?
I have not.
Vanilla Vic.
All right.
That's JG. Might as well talk about him, man. You said 4 for 21 rushing. That's the 3rd leading rusher on the team. I think 1 or 2 was for a first down. But the real story, Terry, was his arm. 24 of 29, 412 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and a perfect...
In 3 quarters.
In 3 quarters. Perfect 158.3 passer rating. Perfect rating. The dude was perfect. He was perfect. Over his last 8 games, Terry, 77.5% completion and a passer rating of 131, which is the highest completion percentage in any 8-game span in NFL history, while the passer rating ranks 7th. He's doing historic things.
He does, and that includes within those stats a 4 or 5 interception game.
Right.
That's pretty amazing.
It's amazing that happened last week. Mm-hmm. We talk about Jared Goff being so level-headed, not really caring. Even in the press conference last week, he didn't think he played that bad. Come out a week later, and he puts on a performance like this. That's why this team, I guess maybe that's the theme for today, Terry. This team is different. This is another reason why this team is different. If you're a defensive coordinator, how do you game plan? How do you stop this offense?
Well, you can't play zone because St. Brown will kill you. You can't play zone because Mutt and Jeff or Bash and Booth or whatever they are will kill you. Man-to-man, I mean, they want you to play man-to-man because they think they can beat everybody. The Lions feel they can win every individual battle.
They can.
So you got to come up with a new defense I've never seen before.
You've never seen it before, and you watched a lot of football.
Or you just got to get some mean mugs out there who just can overwhelm the Lion players. But who's going to overwhelm David Montgomery?
Nobody.
Who's going to overwhelm Penei Sewell?
Nobody.
Who's going to overwhelm that offensive line so you can get to Jared Goff and rattle him?
Yeah. The Houston Texans almost did.
Mm-hmm.
Almost.
But they didn't.
And they got shut out in the second half.
Who's going to outrun J-Mo and Jahmyr Gibbs?
Nobody. Definitely not nobody. Speed, power, precision, route running. They catch the ball. Jared Goff take the Texans game out, doesn't turn the ball over. This team doesn't turn the ball over. And the defense gets takeaways. That's the formula for success. They've even won games with special teams. Khalif Raymond was right there with Gibbs and with J-Mo. He's just a little smaller. Yeah. This offense, Terry, 2 games this season with 7 touchdowns and 50 points, which is the first time in franchise history. Also the 4th team in NFL history to produce 52-plus points in consecutive home games. And the last one I'll read for you. 3rd team in the Super Bowl era with 3 wins of 35-plus points in their first 10 games of a season. The last to do it, the 1973 Atlanta Falcons.
Right. And is the bionic leg going to miss a field goal?
Oh, Jake Bates, Legatron, Pastor Bates?
Mm-hmm.
No, they had to throw him out there at the end of the game just to make sure that his leg was still working. There's the only possession that they didn't score a touchdown on. Hendon Hooker let him down to a field goal.
Fox didn't have to punt?
No.
You know what? This is a weird thing. I thought I would never say this, but I enjoy watching him punt a football. I've never said that about anybody before. I don't like the punt because it's just a dude kicking the ball. But I like because that ball turns over and then it shoots. It's like a rocket.
It is. It is one of those moments where you kind of have to stop. You have to stop and watch what he's going to do, whether it's going to be a 65-plus or he's going to lay it right in the 10-yard line.
Mm-hmm.
Weapon. Jake, they got weapons everywhere.
He's got a driver and a 9-iron as a leg.
Just put it right in the coffin corner. Right in the coffin corner. Terry, who you having beers with from the game yesterday?
I'm going to have Zadarius Smith.
Okay.
Because
hey, what are you asking him?
First of all, I've never seen anybody. Did he walk to the stadium, or
I think he parked in the lot, like down the little alleyway, but
okay.
He wasn't wearing a jacket or anything. He was a sleeveless She jersey.
Yeah. And that's symbolic of the Pistons, who made a midseason trade, receiving Rasheed Wallace, and they won that 2004 championship. Now, and here's another similarity. We were told the Pistons couldn't win a championship unless they traded for Rasheed Wallace.
Mm-hmm.
We're being told the Lions cannot win a Super Bowl unless they get another pass rusher.
Well,
they got him.
He kind of looks like Rasheed Wallace, too.
A little bit. He's got that gregarious. Sometimes Rasheed was sullen sometimes, but he had that gregarious personality. But this is the dude that really, really wants to be here.
Really wants to be here.
That's crazy.
It was good seeing him get a sack at the end of the game.
Right.
Do a little bear crawl and whatever he was doing. He had some energy, and that came from the inside too. They moved him in, so he got a one-on-one on. It was a right guard, I think. Dominated. Real quick before your next beer, Jordan Liner in the chat said, "Broder, I could be wrong, but hasn't the defense gotten a turnover in every game?" Funny he asked that because they're one of only 4 teams in NFL history to allow 1 passing touchdown or less and intercept at least 1 pass each. In each of the first 10 games of a season. Last to do it was the 1985 Eagles. Zadarius Smith is going to keep that going.
Right.
He's going to help keep those turnovers coming. Who's number 2? Shout out to Ticonderoga.
The guy that had too many beers with Brian Branch. Once again,
you guys are getting drunk.
I know. Like to ask him about how he feels dominant at the safety position. I remember the guy from Notre Dame.
Monte Teo?
Nah, the safety.
Oh, his girlfriend.
No, not the girlfriend.
Oh, Hamilton.
The safety, yeah.
Kyle Hamilton.
I thought Kyle Hamilton would be a good fit here. But I was told, yeah, but you can't affect a game from the safety position. Brian Branch is. Kirby Joseph is. So I would like to ask him how he's dominating from the secondary.
Brian Branch and Brad Holmes, I think they might put the NFL draft combine out of production. Like Brian Branch, another guy with a 4.5, 4.6 40, doesn't test well. You're telling me he's not normally the best defensive player out on that field? He's faster than everyone in NFL, in a real game, in a live game. Brian Branch is one of the fastest guys out in the field.
That's true. There's speed, and then there's NFL speed. I mean, when you test somebody at the combine, in the 40, they're not wearing pads. They're not wearing spikes. They're not. They haven't been hit by anybody. So Brian Branch's speed is there, but he's got that NFL speed.
Yeah.
He's not going to beat you in the 100 or the 40 on a track, but he'll kick your ass on the football field.
Yeah.
Going sideline to sideline.
Yeah. Amon-Ra St. Brown's not going to blow your blade with the 40 time. David Montgomery. They just got dudes who perform in a game. That's what they look for. Everyone around the league's looking at 40 times and how much can you bench.
It's important.
Yeah.
No question.
And you're how good your hands look in college. You're an edge rusher. How are your hands? Brad Holmes, he drafts for the other stuff. How are your instincts? What do you like off the field? Are you a football dude like Jack Campbell, who I'm about to have a beer with? He goes for those guys and then coaches up the other stuff. He puts elite coaches around him, like Terrell Williams. This run defense is disgusting.
I think I told you last week I wasn't convinced about Jack Campbell. I am now.
Are you?
Yeah, he's a dude.
Well, I'm going to go have a beer with him, so what do you think I should ask him?
Let me see. See if he knows his history about the Lions. See if he knows about Chris Spielman.
He's got it.
Are there any similarities there?
You see him. I don't know if you saw the post game when Dan Campbell was handing out the game balls. He gave a game ball to everyone on the offense and then called out Goff and St. Brown, and then gave a game ball to Kirby Joseph, who had another interception, and Jack Campbell, who continues to step up and elevate himself as one of the better linebackers in the league. He's still got some things to work out, but he's becoming one of the better linebackers. Alex Anzalone's out now, too. I want to ask him, all right, your defensive captain, the green dot, he's out. How are you feeling taking over the reins, Jack? I think he's ready. I wouldn't have said that 4 weeks ago, I don't think. I definitely would have said it last year. I think he's ready now.
He probably is ready. He's too young for that, but these guys on the Lions just grow up really quick.
They do. And I think he's one of those guys. He seemed quiet, reserved. He's not a guy to talk a lot. He's just all football all day long. But this his little 20-second speech in the locker room after he got the game ball, he's grown up so much faster than I thought. You just hear how he speaks.
I missed it. What did he say?
I don't even remember the words, but it was just it was unifying. It was clear. It was well spoken. It wasn't this shy Iowa farm boy who's like, I just love football. I want to play and get in the playbook. It was a leader.
I'm just happy to be playing with these guys.
That was him. You know, and he gets drafted, and he's got his button-up white shirt and a tie. This is a different life for him. But he's moving into that next stage of his career. I thought it was going to be next year. He's becoming a leader of this team, and that's really good to see, especially if Anzalone broke his forearm and he's out 6 to 8 weeks. Terry,
Well, that's not a major loss because I was told Anzalone can't play.
Oh, you were told?
I was told. Here's what I was told.
What were you told?
The guy may not make the final cut.
Anzalone?
Yes. He's slow. Yeah, he makes tackles 20 yards down the field. So what? Blah, blah, blah. He's not impactful in games. And I almost asked him when we were in the locker room, does he hear this stuff and what does he think about that? Because I think that I always thought the dude could play.
Yeah.
But I kept hearing, he can't play, blah, blah, blah. Now, the only thing I did notice, he does have little bird legs.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of. But
like,
he makes up for it with the long blonde hair.
Right.
But they're not going to have that for 6 to 8 weeks. You think as long as he's not out for the season, they'll be fine, or just in general, the Lions are good. They're fine without him. This linebacker crew's fine.
I think the Lions figure out something. Aaron Glenn will figure out a different way to play. They'll put somebody else in there. I mean, we're going to hear from Rodrigo more. We're going to hear from Josh Paschal more. We're going to hear from a lot of other people. It seems like the Lions are like if you put a hole in them, it just heals. And then all of a sudden that hole is not there. I mean, when Hutch was injured, that was the end of it. That's the end of the game.
It's over.
See ya.
See ya.
You made a nice run. You can't get a pass rush, but they have figured out other ways to do things. They're still getting turnovers.
Every game.
Right.
Forced fumbles, interceptions, pick sixes, and they're big turnovers too when they need them. But you're right, especially in the linebacker crew. You got Jack Campbell. Trevor Nowaski is a guy stepping up, playing a Derek Barnes type role. Malcolm Rodriguez, even Ben Neiman, and some of these other linebackers they keep elevating from the practice squad. It's like you're now thinking about Kelvin Shepard as one of the up-and-coming assistant coaches in the league, which we might have known here in Detroit, but that linebacker crew, we don't have to worry about them anymore. Ever. I think it's a combination of what they're doing on the defense.
Maybe Shepard takes over for Aaron Glenn when Aaron Glenn gets a head coaching job.
I think he will at some point. It's whether it's next year or in 2 or 3 years. Kelvin Shepard's going to be a DC. He might be a head coach one day. He's got a lot of work to do. He's young. I think he's pretty young still. But he's the type of – he's coming from that Dan Campbell mold. He's on the Dan Campbell coaching tree now. Kelvin Shepard's on his way.
Yeah, at some point they're going to lose a whole bunch of these assistants because I think Campbell found a good formula. Let me get former players who are younger, have that younger mentality, and they can connect with players more. Now, older guys, we can tell them what happened back in the day. We can give them really good advice and stuff. But the generation now is different. They have to hear things in a different way.
Yeah. Younger
voices are reaching out to them.
Yeah. That's the makeup of this entire organization. All points to that. They just want their players to be able to connect to their coaches because they trust that their coaches are going to put them in the right positions, whether it's Ben Johnson in his brain or it's Terrell Williams and his technique on the defensive line, or it's Dan Campbell just getting them pumped up. Like, you see Dan Campbell in the locker room after the game, he's got now like a pad of notes. He said it right at the beginning of his speech after they prayed. It's just like he's got notes. This thing is turning into something that they never expected. This team is
he's got those notes
different.
Because it's just incredible, crazy things happening. I mean, if you're a little stat geek, your head would explode.
Flannel?
Yeah, where's Flannel?
Where are you, Flannel?
Flannel was probably still up creating notes and stats and stuff.
Unlimited amount of records and accomplishments.
He was just in the chat saying, come on, Terry, those were talking points from 2021. Anzalone proved a lot of us wrong.
Well, I think Terry was saying like that's the point. He may have proved us wrong, or started to last year. But there's a large part of this fan base that still didn't believe that Alex Anzalone was the best linebacker on this team. Alex Anzalone has been as important as any player on that defense over the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm. And I've heard several people, and they're uninformed fans, I'll admit that, but is this guy even going to be on the roster this year? Is he even going to be on the roster last year? But this dude can play.
Now it's how do we keep him after his contract is up? Whether it's how can you afford him, or how is there enough playing time if Jack Campbell continues to elevate?
Or what happens to this defense without Hutch and Anzalone? I think they're going to be fine in a different way, but it's going to be a little bit tougher. But they're in such a lockdown mode right now. A lot of this is mentality. It's that right in between here.
Yeah.
And Campbell said it. We're going to outwork you, and we're going to outthink you a little bit, and I think that's what's happening. When we talk about the interceptions that Branch and Kirby Joseph are making, a lot of times is they are outthinking the quarterback. They're setting him up. Because when the quarterback goes back, he sees a wide open receiver, and Kirby Joseph or Brian Branch are like, they look in different directions and say, gotcha. Mm-hmm. And they get that interception. So they're baiting people into mistakes.
That's what Kirby did yesterday.
Yeah.
He admitted it after the game, too.
Right.
So I saw that play happening. I saw Mac Jones pump, like a little double clutch pump. I knew, this is mine. I've been waiting for this all game.
Right.
And he went and did it.
And then what they do, and this is masterful, when they see that the quarterback is going in a different direction, and when they know the quarterback doesn't know what they're thinking, then they pretend like they don't know what's happening. They'll be like looking around like, hey, whoa, look at somebody up there and everything, and I'm gonna pull the Chicago Bears, and I don't know what's happening. And then bam, they're like leopards right on top of that football, and they get the interception.
Throw the ball. We're gonna go get it. They are the master baiters. It's not Jake. It's this it's that secondary. It's the safeties just baiting the quarterbacks
now,
into the interceptions.
What do the Lions do for celebration?
What do the Lions do?
You just call them masturbators?
Well, yeah, they're master baiters of the quarterback throwing the ball. They are. They're the two of the best safeties. Are they the two best safeties in the league? Kyle Hamilton is up there. There's some good safeties. They're two of the best. Brian Branch,
how about the
I think he's number one.
Finest tandem
Duo. They got the best safety duo, best running back duo, best coordinator duo, best quarterback. No, best tackle duo. It's special. I got to shout out my guy Wheezy D313 in the chat. He said my lookalike is Paul Skeens. I'll take that. Shout out to Livy Dunn as well. Also, Motown Sports in the chat, $5 super chat, Terry. Thank you, man. Thank you, Motown. Said he just turned 35 today. When the Lions win their 10th game of this year, it'll be the first time they've ever had back-to-back double-digit wins this season. Thank you for sharing that, Motown Sports.
Happy birthday to you.
Pardon?
They said it was their birthday, too. I was just saying happy birthday.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Born in 1989. That's a great year. That is a great year. You've been alive in 5 decades. You're 35. He's been alive in 5 decades. How about that? Terry, can I get back to Goff for a little bit?
Please do.
We got 6 minutes left. Is he back in the MVP? Is he back in the MVP race? Initial instinct. Was he ever out?
Yeah, I think he was out.
Okay.
I think he was out after last week.
Fair. 5 interceptions will do that.
5 interceptions, but I still think he's creeping back in it. Mm-hmm. But this game it was against Jacksonville. It's a 1:00 Sunday game. Yeah, he did get 412 yards. Well, Lamar Jackson didn't have a good game.
No.
They lost. So he's probably back, I will say, inching back in it. Not a front runner like he was a few weeks ago, but I think we're going to hear his name more.
He has to be in the conversation. The quarterback of the best team in the NFL, now the team with the best record in the NFL. You have to. Yesterday, he was making it reign supreme, and I'm not talking about precipitation. Like his passer rating of 125 plus with 2+ touchdowns in 3 straight games, tied for an NFL record, Terry. 4 games this season with the passer rating over 140, tied for most in NFL history. I got 2 more for you. 5 games this season with a completion percentage of 80% plus, most in NFL history. And he's the only quarterback in NFL history to have multiple games with 400 plus passing yards and a 158.3 perfect passer rating.
NFL history.
NFL history.
All right. When you start talking about NFL history, he's got to be in the conversation, despite the 5 interceptions or whatever happened. And let's not forget, 5 interception game. Guess what? Came back and won it.
To me, that needs to be factored into these conversations, into the MVP conversation. It's the stories of that lead to it, not just like the season-wide stories. Did the team overachieve? Did Goff not have any weapons with him or a bad offensive line? It's, all right, you threw 5 interceptions, but what'd you do in the game? You led your team back to victory, and you won. And it was against a first-place team, over against a really good AFC team. That should be in it. His connection with St. Brown, Terry, special. They're 14 of 15 targeting St. Brown in the red zone this year. 14 of 15. Throw him the ball, he catches it.
Mm-hmm. And they
usually
were
for a
perfect
touchdown.
yesterday.
They were perfect yesterday. Was it 11 catches, 11 targets?
Right.
161 yards for St. 2 touchdowns. J-Mo had a touchdown, 4 for 124. Those 2 wide receivers, that was their career high in total yards in a game. And let's not forget, Sam Laporta didn't play yesterday. Whatever.
Brock Wright did.
He did. He scored a touchdown,
right.
too. That was Goff manipulating his eyes, coming down his third,
what's
fourth
your favorite things, eyeball, that you like seeing when you watch a Lions game?
I like watching Penei Sewell before, during, and after the play. That David Montgomery touchdown, was it the first one where Penei Sewell blocked one guy? He then threw another guy into the line, and then he's behind David Montgomery, who gets hit at the 1-yard line. Penei Sewell goes, nope.
You know what Penei Sewell's going to do in the game one time?
What?
He's going to take 2 dudes and crack their helmets together, just like the Three Stooges.
I'm surprised we haven't seen it yet.
Right. I like to see David Montgomery disappear in the pile, and the pile is still moving.
Always.
You don't know where he is. You don't know what he's doing, but that pile is still moving.
Never seen anything like it. They never go backwards. Never. We got 3 minutes, but we got one shout out to that offensive line. Played pretty bad. Not up to their expectations against Houston. They returned to form yesterday. It was a dominant effort.
Yep.
Shout out.
What else you like to see?
I like to see J-Mo when he catches the ball. You need just a sliver of space, and he's gone. And it's turning into Gibbs now, too. We're seeing Gibbs do the same thing. All he needs is one hole up the middle or on the outside. He's gone. Or at least very close to being gone.
Yeah, I like seeing Gibbs counter. There's a little counter runs where it's supposed to go, you think it's supposed to go left, and then he goes right. Mm-hmm. And then I like to see J-Mo turn the corner. When he turns the corner on somebody, you're done. And you know you're done.
Do you think that at the beginning of that game they tried the hook and ladder? Another one from St. Brown to J-Mo. He didn't break free. I think it was Brock Wright missed a block up down the field. One person and J-Mo is gone.
Right. And you know what? They keep that on film, so defenses, it just gives them one more thing they have to worry about. Mm-hmm. Okay, St. Brown caught the ball. Now is he going to lateral? Like, you got to look around. They got so many wrinkles in that offense too.
What's normally coached? Some guy catches the ball. You want your defense to swarm to the ball. Mm-hmm. But he might not keep the ball. These are design deceptives. Where he's catching the ball, you expect him to just run. You want everyone to go tackle St. Brown. Flips it to J-Mo. Flips it to Gibbs. They're setting up something. What Ben Johnson is doing, he's elevating himself even more. I thought he was a top 3 coordinator. He continues to elevate himself. How many plays are like they're going that way, but they hit a receiver or running back going the other way, and they just got space for days. Acreage.
But those little flip plays, St. Brown's the only dude I trust doing that.
Yeah. You know he's going to catch it.
He's going to catch it. Right. And he's going to make the right play. Now, if he sees it's not there, he'll just keep the ball and take his punishment.
He could have he probably had 7 yards to go where he could have gained a couple more yards. There was just so much to talk about. I'm excited for everyone to turn into Wake Up Woodward, which starts at 8 o'clock. KG's in the house. You'll see JB, who's in the TD booth, Chase in the sound booth, Flannel and Kool-Aid, Justin. I think he'll be around.
KG came in. You know who he was looking like today?
What?
Othello.
Othello? Explain that one to me.
Othello is this rich, saintly dude from like the medieval days, and like he could just do like this, and you're dead.
Thumbs down, he's
Yeah,
dead.
thumbs down, you dead.
It's a Shakespeare story.
Or
Oh, that Othello.
yeah, or
I thought it was
he'll go
talking about
thumbs
something
up,
else.
and you have all riches. He can decide your life.
KG's been known to do that.
Yeah, he'll decide how your life is gonna go, at least for the next couple of weeks.
Barking. Terry, this was fun. We got to wrap this up because Wake Up Woodward is coming in
All right,
hot.
and you know, they get mad when we're still here, and they got to take care of business.
They do. A little less than Neil. When we would go over on Wake Up Woodward, it was Neil we'd have to worry about. No, but Sam Flannel, Kool-Aid, JB Chase,
Speak of the devil, and he shall appear. Sam Flannel walks in
Justin
the room.
and KG. They're coming. This was a pleasure. You're going to get much more Lions talk
And
today, I'm
Flannel's
sure.
going to give you at least 100 new stats you haven't heard yet.
And there
Watch.
will still be 100 left that he won't have time to
No, I
read.
won't. He'll get them all.
We'll see. We'll see. This was Woodward and Maine. Terry Foster. This is a legend.
Take it easy.
Always a pleasure.
My pleasure.
We'll see you Sunday at 8 a.m. Lions play the Colts in Indianapolis. Have a wonderful week. This was Woodward and Maine.
you.